Alright guys, this is NinjaGaijin, and we're here with episode 7, and basically today's episode is going to be all about cell phones. You know, how can I get a cell phone? What kind of cell phone companies are there? You know, what to expect, contract, etc. So let's go through it from the beginning. There are 3 major cell phone providers in Japan. You have SoftBank, au, and Docomo. If you were to look at it, I would say the one that has the best coverage and the cheapest options is au, and then it's followed by Docomo, and lastly SoftBank. Personally, when I first came to Japan, I actually went with SoftBank, and the reason for this was it was 6 years ago, and at the time SoftBank was the only cell phone provider in Japan that had the iPhone, and I really wanted to get the iPhone. And I know some of you may be really hating the iPhone, but let's just look beyond that for a second. So I really wanted one, and then the ironic part is when I went, I think it was like the iPhone 4S or 4 that came out that year, and I wanted to get it, but they said they were like back ordered for 2 months, and I was really worried about not having a cell phone in Japan for 2 months. So I forego the iPhone, but I still just went with SoftBank because I was already there. So I got a flip phone, and that was that. Flip phones in here in Japan were pretty interesting. I mean, I could watch TV on it, and it had like a barcode reader and stuff like that. Now this might not sound high tech, but for like a flip phone, it was color screen. I was pretty excited about it. So I used that for a while. Usually the contracts in Japan, they're 2 years. What that means is you go there, let's say you see the cell phone, it's like 800 bucks. You don't have to pay the 800 bucks up front. Instead, you paid installments within a 2-year period, which I believe is standard contract length. They had the same deal in America, at least. The only thing is that if you're a foreigner and you haven't been in Japan long, or your duration that you're going to be in Japan is short, like shorter than 2 years, they're going to ask for you to pay for all of it up front, which is unfortunate, but that's what they do. They actually did that for me when I first came. Even though I had like a 3-year visa, since I just got to Japan, they were like, well, no, you have to pay for it all up front, which kind of sucks. Your monthly will be a little bit cheaper, but all of a sudden just paying out, you know, a lot of money does hurt. But it's just something to keep in mind. Good thing to note is they do accept foreign credit cards, etc. So if you have one of those, then no worries. MasterCard, Visa, etc. You can use it just fine. So, interesting enough, they have a system where usually when you initially sign up at a cell phone company, they usually give you big, deep discounts. They're like cash back, or your first few months free, or they'll also be like your first 2 years you're with them, your actual bill is like reduced even more. And then the longer you're with the same company, your rates actually go up. It makes absolutely no sense. Especially with Japan and all their loyalty programs, you would think that the longer you stay with a company, the cheaper and more opportunities you have. But that's actually not the case. So it tends to be that if you're going to be in Japan for more than 2 years, I would highly recommend just switching companies. Now, how do you switch companies? Now, let's say you do it within, if you do it exactly at the 2-year mark, like within that same month, then you can end your contract, no penalties, everything's fine. If instead you actually decide to cancel, like after a year or whatever, then you're still liable for the rest of the phone, right? Like, so if you have a year left, they're going to add it up and be like, well, this is how much you owe us. Some places they might say that they want you to pay them all of it, or they'll just say, we'll just keep charging you monthly until when your year is up. But if you're obviously going back to your home country, then we're going to want the money up front. Just something to keep in mind. The cancellation fee is $100. It's not a lot, but it is what it is. So it's $100 then plus whatever the remainder you have. And that is standard through all three of the companies. You know, SoftBank, AU, Docomo, you name it. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I stayed with SoftBank. I actually did not know about the whole, like, it's cheaper to switch, etc. So I actually used SoftBank for a good 4 years. And then I noticed that my rates just weren't getting cheaper. In fact, some of them were getting more expensive. So I started shopping around. I went to AU, and they had a huge campaign, right? Lots of cash back. They had like $500 cash back. You're 2 months free. You know, it was really nice. They make it so good that even just dealing with the cancellation fee, like even if you had to cancel within the 2 years, it still would have been cheaper. And you would have actually like saved or made money by just switching companies. So I went to AU, I picked out an iPhone. It was actually my second iPhone, right? Because since I stayed at SoftBank for 4 years, I had a flip phone, then I had the iPhone 5, and then this year, beginning of January 2016, I got the iPhone 6S Plus, which is great. It's got good video. I'm actually filming on it right now. In fact, I'm using the front screen of it, so not even like the back 1080p. But my only problem with it is I messed up and I got the 16 gig. Yeah, so 16 gig went to actual space of like 10 gig. And if you're recording at 1080p, 10 gigs gets eaten up real quick. Like 30-40 minutes, phone's full. I have to empty it. Really annoying. I'm really happy to hear that they finally fixed that with the iPhone 7, and now they don't have the 16 gig anymore, and their lowest is 32, which is really how they should have had it for years. But moving on. So I switched over to AU, had a lot of cash back, and yeah, no, it's good. They charged me. They gave me like 2 months free. It was really easy. Set it up. I just went there. They did all the paperwork for me. You get to keep your phone number, so that's good. They also have like, I mean, obviously this is just a service, right? But they have like a vending machine in the place where they give you a free card. So you just put it in and you get a free drink. They do that every single time you go. It's a really nice service they have. And, you know, overall, I've been pretty happy with it. So just to recap once again, usually the basic contracts are 2 years. Sometimes they want the money up front depending on your visa length. Other times they'll be okay with that if you pay monthly for 2 years. Cancellation fee of $100, which is kind of a bummer if it's within 2 years, but if you're switching companies, sometimes it's very beneficial to actually switch because you'll make money, save money in the long run. And you know, you can also, so you pay either with credit card or you can do just directly from your bank account, one or the other. I personally use my bank account, but it doesn't really matter. And I think that pretty much sums it up. If you have any questions or concerns that I did not cover regarding cell phones, etc. in Japan, please just comment down below, questions, etc. And I'll get back to you in a day or less, guaranteed. Alright guys, have a good one.